Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the Trinity podcast, episode 45. Right on cue, man. Episode 45 of the Trinity podcast. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. It's more pain. It's more suffering. It's more anger. It's more moaning. That's what it is. There's no other, there's no other words, really. Or just, what is it? Just giving up? Is it just refraining from doing these things? Is it just don't say anything? We have to find out. We're all basically in pieces, as you can probably hear and see right now. But as always, the Trinity podcast is brought to you by Oxford Natural, and let's see what they got to say. This video is brought to you by Oxford Natural and the Optimum Day and Night capsules. This is the perfect way to take charge of your weight loss journey through Optimum. Scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the video description below to start your journey now. Look at the difference. I mean, just look at KG. The proof's in the pudding. There you go, guys. Shout out to Oxford Natural. As always, man, you can get your Optimum supplements there. Right there on this code. 70% off on the QR code on screen. Over there. Down in there. Down. Yeah, there you go. What do you call it?
Well, I was hoping KG was going to
KG's closest. Yeah,
to point to the QR code. I was handing over to the QR code.
He's got the guns out.
Just did the double bind. There you go. There we went. Right at the end.
But shout out Oxford Natural. You guys can get your stuff there. And you know what? It's I have to say, it's that time of year where everyone's picking up the lurgies. This is what it is. The viruses are going around, the colds are going around. And if you can keep yourself optimized, you've got a better chance of hanging on in there. You know what I mean? So yeah, shout out everyone. Link in the video description below. Use code UnitedView for up to 70% off, and the QR code is on screen. Manchester United Football Club. PLC.
How are you all doing, guys? How are you all doing? You can see by the faces this morning, you know, they're like Flex said, there's illness, there's disappointment, there's anger, there's frustration. I did obviously the match with yesterday with KG. I knew as soon as he put that hat on, actually, he put an Alf hat on yesterday. And I knew as soon as he did it, that he's got it there. As soon as he put that on, I thought we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. And do you know what, Flex? Yeah, actually, I think that people should apologize to you a little bit. And this isn't even like a point scoring thing. We did the preview that went out on Christmas Day. It went out on Christmas Day, and I was trying to be a little bit positive, and I was going, well, you never know. Our record on Christmas Day is all right. Our recent record at Molineux is all right. Flex stopped it. He changed the format of the show midway through. He went, no, this was like 3 minutes in. He went, we're not winning. So we're not winning. We're going to lose probably 2-0 is what he said.
Yes.
Right? And all of the comments were filled with, Flex, you can't say that. Not on Christmas Day. You can't say that. You can't say your team's going to lose, let alone your team's going to lose on Christmas Day. And the pushback at the time, in fairness, was, well, what am I supposed to say? I'm only saying what the truth is, and the reality is. And it's exactly what happened. So do we need to sort of park the pearl clutching over the negativity and actually say, you know what? It's just been real. We're not good.
Yeah. That's it. 100%. And listen, I can't tell people what to do. I'm not some oracle. Everyone's different. Everyone supports the club in a different way. For me, I say I find it easier. I'm still mad when it actually happens. That's the life of a supporter, isn't it? That's the life of a fan. You can know you're rubbish. You can expect to lose. But when you see the goals flying in, when you see Bruno getting sent off, when you see that you can't attack and you can't get shots, you still get angry in the moment and start going, for God's sake, why? But you knew it was going to happen. But for me, I'm so comfortable is probably the wrong word, because that comes across like I want this to happen. But everyone's smart enough watching this to know that's not what I want. I'm comfortable because I'm saying 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like I said, down the barrel, get used to them numbers, guys. That's our numbers. That's our lotto numbers. 11 to 15. We're going to spend a lot of time there. I've seen it. I can understand it. I know what we are. I know what we are not. And going into this game, I knew all the ingredients to bake this cake. I said Molineux. I said Vitor Pereira's first game at home. Mateus Cunha. Just those three. And just off those three, the home advantage, the guy's first game at home, they're running around, they're battling for everything. And then Mateus Cunha was like, We said, just put the bid in now, please. Just put the bid in now, right? So them 3 things came. Then I'm like, we won't attack. We won't manage the occasion well. We won't make good decisions. We're going to crumble. It just all happened. So I know what we are. And I'm going to go one further. I've been saying it already. Guys, I said Wolves, L. Newcastle coming. It's sacking them, man. We're in big trouble. L at yard. Then we got to go to Anfield. L away. And then we got to go to Arsenal. L. Like, it's consecutive. This is going to be consecutive. We might not get another point. And even Rangers at yard in the Europa League now, you're going, because nothing's straightforward. So we may not legitimately win another game until mid-January. And I'm not trying to do the sensationalism, trying to, boost it up more for effect. No, that's genuinely how I feel.
KG.
Listen, man, Flex spoke perfectly there. The team's in a strange place. When I say strange, well, we know this place that we're in as well. It's getting dark, It's getting dark in the fan base. It's getting we're a place where we shouldn't be right now, which is a bit strange because it's getting toxic and stuff. And you can start to see it. We're pointing fingers and we have to blame someone. We're gonna be in the crossfire for a lot of the blame at times. You don't leave the country, stay in the country. Don't do things by yourself. Don't what do you call it? And guess what? You can say all these things, but it's the team, innit? Like, there's nothing we can do but say, look, this team stinks when it comes to just getting over the line. And there's things that if you want to talk about the point scoring, we've had conversations about Onana many a times on this channel. And every time we have one, it's that thing of digging him out and stuff. But then there's no surprise that when you go back and look at the Onana videos with myself, it's up and down because that's what his time at the club has been like. It's been flip-flopping his form. One minute he's a really good keeper, brilliant, and he can look after us and hold down the net and stuff. Other games, I don't know what's going on. Now, there is that thing of
KG, what did you say before the game yesterday? Flex, you wouldn't have seen this, yeah. Like KG, he just came onto the Match View stream, and on Amazon Prime they were showing the goals that Wolves scored against Leicester, and they weren't good goals. I hadn't seen these.
No, they were awful
goals. They weren't good goals. And KG, the first thing KG said, he went, "That's the kind of stuff Onana does." Like that was it was like a red flag. It was just a red flag. Instinctual. He went, Onana makes those kind of things.
Onana does all of that. I said Onana does all of that. And then after Owen started watching it, and then Owen, our part of the goalkeepers union, he couldn't watch it and say, "Shut up, KG, you're lying."
Yeah, he has to have that acceptance of
he watched it, and he was like, "Oh." There was a moment of, they take those shots. Yeah. Not knowing in the same game, Flex. We cussed Bayern Deer, and it was, and don't get twisted, Bayern Deer still terrible. But that little punch that he does, and he complains about being impeded. There's something that happened to him. Maybe he can, but he was trying to punch it with his other hand. Now in this one, I'm hearing that the goalkeeper was that sandwich. Onana was sandwich.
Yeah, it was sandwiched.
But then I don't feel like it's. I don't know if it's enough. Is that enough, guys?
It's not. I don't believe it was. People were atting me back saying, I said, look, I was angry, so I'm not asking for a foul for that. Pathetic, I'm saying. So people are coming back at me because it's an effing foul, Flex. Obviously, he's been held back. And I'm like, forget people putting up all these stupid freeze frames on the net. Oh, look, thing up. No, just watch it through in normal time, even in a slow-mo replay if you really want. It's just not enough. It's just clever from them. Make it difficult for him so that it's hustle and bustle so he can't get to where he needs to get to. But don't get two hands and yank him down. Don't put your arm around his shoulder or neck or something like that, or hold his wrist down. Just be there so he's just stuck and it's just messy and can't get there. And that's why it's just smart from Wolves. It's so smart.
I remember when De Gea first arrived, because this is giving me memories of De Gea when he was getting moved to. Remember when little tiny De Gea? And then what did we do? We put some players around him. to stop it. We put like 2 players around him to say, all right, you're not going to get to us. You're not going to get to our goalkeeper like that anymore. Enough's enough. But I don't listen.
The biggest point is that we are now, right? And you know what the irony of this is, that we are being targeted by every person, every team in the league from set pieces, even the team with the worst record, which is them. Do you know how? Do you know how? What bullshit that is? The team with the team that are the worst at said thing go. We can get them at that. We can do that to them. They're the worst.
The fact that we conceded essentially the same set piece directly from a corner twice in the space of 7 days is not a coincidence. That is not a fluke. That is not a fluke. That happens for a specific reason. And KG's right, because now, when it gets like this, well, we've lived it before for any kind of poor form or what have you, is you start looking for reasons and you start looking for people to blame. And the revisionism starts. That's in full effect at the moment. About it wasn't bad under Eric. The new one is Eric Ten Hag was a complete bystander to all the players here. He had nothing to do. Nothing to do with them coming in. That wasn't on him. And then you get back to obviously we should have kept Ollie.
I heard the maddest one. You'll never believe it, guys. You'll never believe what I heard. Gilo, can I try and guess?
Moyes, about David Moyes.
Yep. Someone said this all started back in Moyes too soon. We didn't give him enough time replacing Ferguson. When you're getting back into the annuals, the history books, and you're talking about Moyes,
a decade ago, over a decade ago at this point. It's mad, isn't it? You know what I mean? So that stuff's going on, and it's just the only thing I will say, and I do agree with what people are saying with this, is there is a part of me that is beginning to worry for Ruben Amar, because when you start to go, well, it's going to get bad, and we've all admitted it's going to get bad, but I just worry about INEOS, and I go, they have already shown they are trigger happy. They're not afraid to let someone go they've brought in after 5 months. How bad are they going to allow it to get? And I think, and this is their fault. This is on them, because this was kind of the consensus coming out of the game yesterday too, which was if you have a squad of players, a group of players that are built to play in a certain way, 4-2-3-1. This is for the style, and you bring in a manager that plays completely differently, and the players can't do it. That's kind of on you, isn't it? Because you've brought in two parts that don't really mesh together, and you have to basically go, right, we understand right now they're not going to mesh together that well. We have to kind of just get through this season.
Exactly.
Either in January, see what we can do, if we can do anything, or the summer, just get to the summer and then bring the players in for the system that he needs. And because he's your guy and you believe and you can see what he's done at Sporting, and look how they've fallen off since he's gone. The manager who replaced him's already been sacked, all that kind of stuff. But I look at the Graham Potter situation when he's at Chelsea, when it was a bit kind of the same, wasn't it? Of, well, we'll just get to the end of the season and kind of go from there. And he never made it, basically.
Because he kept losing and losing. Yeah. Oh, and you make a really good point, because I was feeling the same about that. You shouldn't this early, because we should be all on the same page where we're like, well, we don't even need to discuss the manager. We all know that's not going to happen, which is the right thing.
Yeah, and it shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't happen. But you just, when I feel like when you're in these types of ruts, it does things to you. I think that's what it is. When I'm looking at the fixture list and I'm going Newcastle, Liverpool, Arsenal. You're doing that. So you're going, if we take licks again at Old Trafford, 3-0. Say it's 3-0 at Old Trafford. Isak, Gordon 2. Let's just say 3-0 light change.
And it easily could be, by the way. That's not even.
And it easily could be. This is not. Yeah. Let's just say it is. Then you pull up at Anfield. We all know what it is. Yeah. We all know 3-0. Yeah. 4-0. Whatever. 4-1. Whatever it is. Then you go Arsenal, dumped out the FA Cup. Then you all of a sudden don't really beat Rangers. It's a draw or so. All of a sudden, you're looking at the league and you're seeing. I think if we spend some time in the actual relegation zone, like the actual one, that's when I think that's the only time I get worried. I'll be honest, Owen. I think INEOS, like you said, because they're ruthless, but I'm probably giving them a bit too much credit here, and I've been critical. There has to be surely, Owen, like you just said, some acceptance that this is on you. You spent money for Eric. You didn't want him. So you can't, just because we're 16th, you can't just sack the manager now. Yeah. If as long as we are not in the relegation zone for a prolonged period of time, maybe like a match week if it gets really bad. But as long as there's not a genuine threat, we could actually go down, which will not happen. That won't happen, guys. That won't happen.
I think people's faith's been shook though in INEOS because of what happened with the Dan Ashworth thing. Not necessarily because it was the right decision or the wrong decision, but it just gave this air that this master plan we thought was going on behind the scene, actually, it's not as settled as maybe we thought. And then you see, like, you know, obviously our finances are sort of with transfers spiraling out of control, and they go, well, PSR, and we, you know, spent a lot of money in the summer, and then, you know, Rashford's being, you know, forced out right now, and you're going, but he's probably not going to go in January though, is he? He's probably going to go in the summer. Like, there's just, it feels really just as chaotic as ever. I mean, when we had in the summer a time where we actually thought things were quite solid behind the scenes, and actually, all right, everyone's in their place and everyone's got their plan. And even when Ruben Amar came in amid the sort of Ten Hag exit chaos, it was like, right, everyone's in place now. Everyone's in place. It's fine. You know, it'll be up and down, but we know the direction that we're going in. And suddenly now it feels like I have no idea what direction we're going in. Really, what's the direction?
Well, I would say in this though that we do need to, like, it's had to remain calm type situation, because you can't, like, let's have it right with ownership and stuff, but they can't afford to sack the manager. They got him out of his contract. Yes, Dan Ashworth won the 10 million, 5 million, whatever you want to say there. You're still paying off Ten Hag. What are you going to do? There's no way that you can get rid of the new guy. And he's had things in place. He wouldn't have signed something stupid to not protect himself. He realizes the club he's coming to. He's coming to a club that have been struggling, and a club that you could end up in trouble. His agent would not have been foolish to understand dark times ahead, you know. But I don't think that would be there's no longevity in that planning. I get you can sack Dan Ashworth, and I'm not really surprised by how quick they done that one. There was just too many. There was too many in the room, too many cooks in the room, and they just got rid of one. Simple as that, you know. But to do something is reactionary. As sacking the manager would be insane, because you've called this guy out of his situation. Do you know how bad they look? If they did that, let's say like it gets dark and they sack the manager, forget INEOS. That's it. Just wrap it up and just go home and it's done, because that shows me these guys are beyond not serious. You bring in a guy that didn't want to come in this time anyway. He gets here mid-season. He doesn't get preseason. You don't buy him the players. Like, literally, you set him up to fail. So you don't have any, you're not a part, like, you're not separate from this. You haven't set this manager up to achieve. So you don't just get to say you're stacked. I hate the position you're in. We're in this position together. You've actually done this to me. You know, the players that you have brought in, they're not my type of players. If you knew I was earmarked to be here and you wanted to be at the end of the season, why did you get me mid-season? Why didn't you get rid of Ten Hag before? So you don't get to sail into the sunset saying, hey, guys, we just sack people and show that we're ruthless. No, mate, ruthless, you don't get that. That's not even, you know, when you like get a script, those are not your lines, bro. That's what they have to understand right now. Yeah. There's someone else.
The character was written for someone else. The character was written for someone else. You know what I mean? And they're going, they're going, be like the person we originally wrote it for. You go, well, that's not me. That wasn't written. It wasn't written for me. You know what I mean? It's a bit like that.
That's so true. That's so true.
But the players also. I look at this. I was saying this after the game yesterday, Flex. I look at it as like a bit of a game of chicken going on right now between Ruben Amar and between the players, because it reminds me a lot of when Ralph Rangnick was in and he went, right, you know, we're changing the system. We're playing 4-2-2. I want you to be pressing from the front, and you buy in a little bit. And then a couple of games in, maybe you don't get the results you're necessarily looking for, and the players go, no, I don't really want to do that. And it already feels a bit like that. That's
exactly what it's like.
You know, of like Ruben Amar going, right, we're playing 3-4-3, and the players go, right, we're going to do it, and then get some negative results, and suddenly, you know, they're just kind of passing it sideways. And yesterday, you kind of saw it where a couple of times we go forward and players are putting their hands up going, oh, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to be going? And what Ruben Amar cannot do, and what INEOS cannot do, they cannot back down. They cannot basically say to Ruben Amar, or Ruben Amar can't basically go, well, the players aren't getting it, I've got to change. I've got to change. I've got to do something for the sake of winning games. And I've already seen that start to creep into the fan base too. Of like, you know what?
Yeah,
Well,
just
whilst
change
things are bad, you know, go to 4-2-3-1, get some points on the board, and then at the end of the season, you can revert back to 3-4-3. If he does that, it's done. It's over
But you
because
know what? I was,
you've bent the knee to the players again, haven't you? You've bent the knee to the players and
true.
said, you know, you basically, you guys didn't want to do it, so I caved and gave you what you want. And if it means getting worse, if it means keep losing games, if it means showing these players for what they are, criminals, as you've said before, KG, criminals, then show it. Then show it, because so often we have panicked in the face of just getting the result that we have kind of ignored it. And then once the results do come, it's a bit like when Rude came in, because that's what Rude essentially did. When Rude was the interim, he was like, right, I know what you guys can do. I know what your guys are used to. You know, I'm going to put Casemiro Gatti in midfield. I'm going to shut up shop, you know, because the revisionism of that, it was great. It was not great football
We just
to
went
watch.
4-4-2.
You know, we literally essentially went flat, parked the bus, got results, because you'll get results doing that. But it doesn't, you're not really progressing. You're not really going anywhere.
But you can do that because that actually is for a short time. It's only
an
4
interim.
games.
You're not
Just
building
stabilize.
anything.
You don't have to invest into that. You only have to buy into that for 4 games. It's very difficult if you have long-term plans as a manager, which obviously Amorim does for 2.5 years and beyond. You have to put something in place. This is why he has to do this. He has to put this down on wax and say, we're going to do this. It's going to be pain, but this time next year, we will be better for doing this now. Because if I adapt and change and, you know, give every player what they want, then it's not going to work. And the truth is that it's so obvious what the problems are. Like, not just, this is what it is. Yeah, we've got the default problems of like the mentality of these players, whether it's, and this is what I'm saying about the revisionism that's going on, which is totally stupid. Doesn't matter whether it's 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 4-4-2, or now 3-4-3. We've seen these men buckle under all sorts of pressure in whatever formation. So do me a favor, as Roy Keane would say, and get out of here with that crap of like, it's the system, it's this, it's that. When these guys have had their favorite things, when there's a pure number 10 and everything goes through Bruno, when Rashford's high and wide on the left, when flipping Martial was number 9 and Mason Greenwood was out on the right, or bloody, you know, Ronaldo was up front and Jadon Sancho was on the left, and Pogba, Matic, just protection next to Fred, and shut up. Like, we've seen it. So let's not rewrite the thing that like there were way better.
Was winning league back to back when in that era, bro. We won the league every single year.
Do you know what I'm saying? People are trying to rewrite this whole like, well, go back to Sir Alex then. Let's just go back to 2013 and be like, when Van Persie was here, this wasn't like this. He would have scored by now. Oh yeah, you know, Rooney was in the 10, just supply. There's no, you know what I mean? It's just stupid stuff. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is the complete lack of adaptability in the squad, which is why the team has to be undone. Like, if people can't understand that with your biggest guys, again, we're not saying these things for effect. Rip it up, Control, Alt, Delete, you know, start again, sell them all. We really do mean these phrases. Bar three or 4 guys. It has to happen.
Scary, though. The only thing that's scary that we have to deal with, Man United fan base have to wake up with some of the ways that we are going to treat these players, because there is a culture. We have a culture, especially for the young players. I'm talking your Cobbies. Garnacho's supposed to be in that bracket. Maybe Rasmus. Well, anyone under 21, right, is a young player, right? After that, you're just senior, yeah? And yesterday, I started to see just the new guy. I started to see...
It's Cobby's fault now. Yeah, he's not generational. He's not that good.
Yeah.
We gassed him up. He's
scary.
rubbish.
It's scary. We just need to...
Ahmad, it'll be Ahmad soon. It'll be Ahmad.
It'll be Ahmad. Relax.
Then it'll be Euro. A few people say, tell you what, Euro's getting fucking poor.
Yes,
Jesus.
Streaky performances.
You know what I mean?
I think what we need to do is just we have to remind ourselves that now this is going to take time. This is going to take time, and we have to we have to be committed to exactly where we are. And the players, we must protect the young players, or you just won't come here. You know, like, what's your reason to come in for Man United if you're not paying good wages and the fans are going to give you shit, and you're just gonna you're highlighted, but then it's just, there's nothing good about coming here. If you're a player, you're not going to come in and say, oh, look, best fans in the world, or they stick by you, this, that, and the other. All you're going to say is it worth the grief? No. You know what I mean? And what I could go somewhere else, get paid less, not be under the microscope as much, and enjoy my football and have fun.
And then get a move again in 3 years' time or something.
And so we have to make this. Even you have to say this, even in the Liverpool years, and this is probably the respect I do have for the club in Liverpool is, bro, look, they was able to sign Fernando Torres, Suarez. Fernando Torres has, and this is in the time when it went winning, you know, you'll never walk alone type, like on him, yeah? You have to understand, his feeling and connection to the fans, they're gonna stick by you. Some of their fans will stick by you. That's one thing about the Liverpool. Yes, they can have their things with Darwin, but even with Darwin, they kind of still
They
still
like
back
him,
him.
yeah.
He still
like
left
him.
there, didn't he, KG? Still left him
Yeah.
at Chelsea, didn't he?
Well, look, I'm just saying that there's a difference. There's a difference of some clubs when you talk about really putting an arm around certain players and then how we do it. And right now, it's not a surprise how our players leave the club in a sad way. Pogba left the club sad. Herrera, it don't even matter your type of. I remember when Juan Mata used to write these blogs. Sorry. Like there was everyone leaves this club.
But Rashford's now talking about not going out like that, but he's going out like that.
Rashford's going in. So if you look at the trail of this club and how it is here, and you can't say that, yes, you can say, it's the ownership, but they have these fallouts with the fans as well.
Is that because with those situations, does the fallout come though from either a lack of performances or the fact that they have stayed too long and the fans are like, well, you should have left before, so it shouldn't have got to this kind of point? Like the relationship between the fan and the player, it's allowed to get toxic because it's past its sell-by date way before they actually should have gone. So a bit like the Phil Jones thing. Phil Jones like left Man United, like, you know, when he signed that new contract, was it 2019? If he'd have left then, then like towards the end of that extra however many years he was at United, it would be like, oh, it wouldn't have been that bad. But that's where the friction comes from, I think, a lot of the time. Like with like the Rashford stuff, you could get people to go, you should have left a couple of years ago, to be honest.
But then that absolves the Man United fans of our part in this thing.
No, I don't necessarily disagree with that.
I saw people doing AI images on Kobe Mainoo, and they're all Man United fans.
Yeah, because that's Twitter, KG. Like that's what it is.
It starts off light, and it becomes the narrative. It does start off as, I remember when Fernandes and the scoring penalties, and there's that Fernandes, and after it just becomes something that sticks. Now all of a sudden we're talking about Kobe's athleticism. Can he even play in this team? This, that, and the other. Is he a good enough midfielder?
But
and that's where we have
the thing is,
second season thingy that he's probably having.
But we also, and this is on the other side of it, and this isn't just playing devil's advocate, because I remember we did the game together last night, and you were talking a lot about Kobe. We've also can't go too far in the opposite direction where we just can't even have conversations about players either, because that's where it also goes as well at the moment. Because I've seen that too, where like last night Kobe was not good. Like he was not good. And the problem is when you do then say that, it's like, you can't talk about that. And then that only like makes the other side get more annoyed, because they're like, well, we're not allowed to have a conversation about it now.
And the key is like we always say is eye testing it. Like the internet, memes can get 10,000 likes and make it look like that's what everyone thinks, when it's not. When you see this is how misleading, let's just say X is, because that's where we consume our football news. There could be, like you say, an AI picture of Kobe doing something stupid where he's not good, and it could have 15,000 likes. And you go, bloody hell. There's 15,000 of us now who think that. When really, 15,000 of the entire Man United fan base as well, who aren't all on X, is just nothing. And also that 15,000 is a bunch of rival people, someone who don't even like football. It's not, and I'm not trying to disgrace the online world, because we live in it, we work in it. But this is why I'm old school, some old school people, or like other this is why it's looked down upon, because something online can seem like it's so big that it's like set in stone, whether that's a cooking. Think of it like this, KG. Let's just be honest, we could be getting cooked on there, X done the thing on us, whatever. It feels like if you sit on the phone and I just look through stuff, notifications, this is, oh my God, I cannot get away from this. This is just too big. As soon as you put the phone down and lock it, and just look around normal life, it's not real anymore. Apart from when you see someone on the train, then the bus, then McDonald's, and they say, oh, then it's real. But you get my point, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you get my point of like, in that
But then Flex, you're saying something so, and we're showing our age and our era. The young players don't get to do that. You had Brennan Johnson turn off.
Yeah, of course.
That was almost like
that's true.
That's almost like turn off his pulse. So he was.
You have to. But that's why that's what I'm saying. As soon as you put the phone down and step out
no,
of
but
it,
we
it won't
can.
be your reality anymore.
We didn't grow up with the phone, so we can go. We can do this one. Just throw our phone. It's gone, and we don't need to care about it. These players that we're talking about, they are born in this with this time, and we have to. It's got to be
what
different.
comes. It's what if you're going to be a player in this thing, it can't be different. It won't be.
I hear it, but then
not.
it doesn't. While it has to be, you say, well, it shouldn't be like this. But guess what? It's like this. Brennan, as well as he's doing, that was just a sign of the times and where the players are. We have to make sure. All I'm saying is, there's a job for us with the young players, that the expectation should be on the right players. We instead of, yes, Kobe was terrible yesterday, but we take him in and out the firing line. Fergie would never have used Kobe as much as we're using him. So we have to use young players effectively. We have to bring them in. Now I'm starting to almost respect the way Fergie did it. The players that need to be called out is the senior ones, which brings us to the players that we need to talk about in terms of leading by example. The Brunos. Bruno's got he had 3 sending offs this season, and he's not a defensive midfielder. He's getting sent off more than your them scatty players in the John Joe Shelby and them man there. Bro, he's moving like that. He's moving.
Ugarte picks up their yellow cards. He's not even getting sent off.
Exactly. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And it is sometimes it's ridiculous. Literally, like, it's so bad. This man's playing without any not any care in the world.
Just after halftime. So you sat, and that's why I was really angry. You've just sat in there, listened to Ruben Amar at halftime as the captain, let him probably say his piece. And then as the captain, you've probably put your 10 pence in as well of, come on, boys, Ruben's right, let's do this. Or you've done your piece. We're assuming as captain in that moment. And your first action, I swear that was the first action of the half. They passed it back, and then he...
90 seconds in. Yeah, 90 seconds. It was
so then a minute and a half, you had a rush of blood to say, I'm just going to do something foolish and reckless. And even have the cheek and the stupidness and the audacity to, like, stay on the pitch going, but
there's no complaints, was there?
What are you doing? And this is another thing where outside Spurs, KG, you obviously weren't there, but there was a couple of young United fans, and they were like, nah, Flex, man, this is what we mean, man. Just got to play Harry Amas left wing back, man. Just put him in. It can't be worse than this. Shido, just play him up front. Can't be worse than Rasmus. But you see what you just said there about young players. If you put young players into environments that are not conducive to them, environments that are toxic like this, where there's shit role models and nobody to follow, forget it. Their career's over before it's even started. We've had to, because look now, like you just said, look at our young players now. Garnacho is, I don't want to say on his way out the door. That probably is a little bit too far, but it don't look great.
It feels like more like a possibility than it would have, 6 months ago.
100%. 6 months ago, he's the future. Give him time. Kid thinks he's Ronaldo. He's got the right mentality. We'll just see how he develops. Now doesn't really.
His mentality shit.
His mentality's not. You know what I mean? He's been out this match day squad. His mentality's not good. Ruben's not using him, bringing him on in the last few minutes of games. He's kind of in the pile with Eriksen, Casemiro, Anthony. Like, he's not really being that guy. Now it's that. If you look at Kobbie Mainoo, within 6 months, he'd, revolutionized Man United, gone into England in the friendlies, got himself in the Euro squad, went all the way to the finals as one of the main guys halfway through the tournament when he fixed the midfield. Wow. Now it's can't move, can't run, overgassed, not generational. Do you know what I mean? So you throw in Chidu Obi Martin to this, and he's not ready, or Seiko Kone and all this stuff. Like, we're asking for big trouble, guys. Big trouble. And it's not fair on them kids. It's not fair.
You can't do that. You're going to ruin another, like, fledgling group. And
exactly.
What we need to do is bring in some senior pros who can deal with the pressure and just can avoid the bozo gene and can play. Like, there was a moment in the game, we're down to 10 men, The Low's on the ball, and he stops. And I'm saying, well, why are you stopping? And you let everyone get back into position, mate. You got a man down. You actually need to use the overload of there's no one there. Take strike in this moment. And the team just literally, we get to the final third and we stop playing. it's like they don't know how to play football anymore. And let's not act as if we did in the Rude era, because I remember in the Chelsea game, those players didn't know how to attack in 4-4-2, in 4-3-3. It don't matter whatever the formation is. They get to the they get up the
pass
and they get nose. So we can't act as if remember that Chelsea game? It was the stinkiest game we've ever seen.
To be fair, a lot of the games under Rude were when we played PAOK. It was the same. Like some of the shocking.
People acting like we're good.
We're acting as if we were scintillating football when we in that time, in that moment. And that's what I'm saying. What we do, we romanticize crap, you know. But what does need to happen is certain players need to move. I said it earlier. I said, look, guys, I know it's exciting about Ahmad in the 10. Put that guy as a wing back.
He need him back there, because he can play both. Yeah.
You know, as in he's attacking outlet. We're a team that it's a formation that is wing back heavy, and it opens up space to give people room. You can double up on Ahmad because no one else is going to be there. If Ahmad's in the 10, double up on him. There's not going to be any overlapping. Delow's getting 90%. He's getting the lion's share of the ball. Give it to him. You know, it's like in basketball when you say let him shoot.
Let him have it. Yeah, let him shoot. Yeah.
Let him do whatever he wants. Like, he wants to shoot from anywhere. We're not going to double up on him. Do your thing, bro. Because I know nothing is going to happen on that side of you as a threat. So while it's an outlet, it's the worst outlet we could have in the world. You know, so we need to like, more than anything, as bad as the strikers have been, and like with Xerxes and with not mention Xerxes first, with Rasmus and Xerxes, as bad as they've been, just in case someone's gonna see, oh my god, why do you mention his name first? As bad as they've been, we need a left wing back faster than anything. If Jan happens and we just get a left wing back, I'm taking it. That's where we are right now. That's the most important signing ever for us right now, because it will give us at least something to think of where you got a threat on both wings. Put Ahmad back in the right wing back. Whoever is getting over there, we still got a 10 issue. But that's what I'm
saying. There's problems all over the park, and the problem is we can't attack. We can't attack. We've taken out an attacker and put an extra defender. And every time we go forward, it's very, very evident there's not enough white shirts or red shirts. Like, we just don't have numbers forward. And then because you're going forward, like you're saying, KG, with two defenders who become your wingers and your attackers in them moments, we're sitting ducks, mate. We are sitting ducks. Rasmus or Xerxes is just the only target in the box. The 2 10s are just outside the box trying to make something happen in tight spaces where it doesn't suit them, apart from Ahmad. And the wing backs, Mazraoui, again, we can't. We say he's a good signing the season, £12 million, good value. He's not a right wing back who can create. He's not. Yeah. He's a better right centre back or left centre back. He's Mr. Utility man. Again, let's not gas him to be like, yeah, man, he's the save. No, he's a good squad player. He's a competent footballer, can understand the game, got a good understanding of where he needs to be. But right and left wing back, respectively, is not for him. He doesn't have that engine. He doesn't have that creation. And Dalot / Malacia at left wing back is just nothing. It's just a whole bunch of nothingness. So, yeah, guys, episode 45. More licks incoming. You heard it here. I don't know how these guys feel, but I'm, Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool, 3 L's. 3 L's.
I'm getting out of here. Broken promises.
No more.
Yeah.
More L's. So there you go, guys. Smash a like on the video if you can after such a negative vibe. And we'll see you on episode 46 of the Trinity podcast next week. We're out of here. Peace.